Welcome back. This is the Hammer Down Show on 1017 The Hammer, the 1017 The Hammer app. We're over to our phone lines now where Coach Brian Nay, the Central Catholic Knights, is going to join us here. And I think we're catching him just before he has to get on this bus ride. It's Wednesday. I think if he leaves now, you guys will finally make Mitchell High School for the opener here. Coach, great to have you back. I guess that was the first thing that people have been bringing up to me when we talk about you guys is that opening week. Mitchell is it's south of Bedford, north of Paoli. That's a bit of a drive here for week one. Not that you guys are, not used to taking some of these longer drives, especially in the postseason, but that is the number one thing I've been asked this year about. It's the Blue Jackets. So how does that end up on the schedule there for you guys this year?
Really, it's best out of necessity. It's a 1-year contract. So we play Mitchell for 1 year. We both found ourselves in the spring looking for a week one.
Mm-hmm.
Seeger decided to go with Carroll. So Carroll and Seeger signed a contract for week one. So that's how we're no longer playing Seeger. And then next year we will start a series with Indianapolis Cecina. That'll be our week one, and we're hoping that'll be our week one for the foreseeable future. Similar sized schools, both Catholic, Diocese of Lafayette versus the Archdiocese of Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a good positive week one for both communities.
I love it.
But that's how we got here, and that's how we're leaving. We do have to get on the bus earlier than normal and travel to 2:45, I think, each way. But you know what? In our experience, the years that we've been fortunate enough to make runs, we've had to get on a bus and go win a football game.
Yeah.
So yeah, why not get a little practice in week one?
I know last year, not the season that you guys are accustomed to having, but we talked about this a lot where you had a lot of two-way players that had graduated and moved on from the 2024 season. So you had to break in a lot of new faces in a lot of new places. Now that they've built on that experience, how has the offseason gone for you guys? And how is it now having those guys, not having to necessarily break in a bunch of guys at new places, having a little bit of that experience finally returning and kind of resetting the program a bit this year?
Well, I'm hoping that it pays all the dividends in the world. I love that. I do love the team, team 2025 senior class. That's not how anybody wants to, that's really not how anybody wants to go out, but it's high school athletics, it's high school football. There are cycles. Not only were we very inexperienced last year and we paid for it throughout the course of the year, but it also seemed like everybody on the schedule was extremely experienced. So, and then, we are, at the end of the day, we are still LCC and I feel like we are one of the programs where I'm not saying everybody circles us on their calendar, but, with our pride and tradition, I know we're going to get everybody's best shot. So yeah, it was definitely a growing year, but it has made all the difference. We're returning 10 starters on defense. Like, when do you ever say that?
Not often.
Not often. I believe it's by the end of our season last year, we had 8 out of our 11 starting on offense. 8 out of 11 were underclassmen. And we're still very underclass dominant. Now we've got seniors who I see having some huge years. Dom Delgado, Wyatt Williams. I think Joe Metzger is poised to have a really good year as a receiver for us and kind of a utility guy in our defensive backfield. But we've got some underclassmen with a lot of juice. Our sophomore class is I believe our sophomore class is 19 kids strong, which is a big class for us. And then our junior class, where they don't have a lot of numbers, you got kids like Eli Thompson and just remember the name Chase Hiddle. Chase Hiddle's I think Chase Hiddle's going to have a huge year for our defense this year. He got a lot of reps as a sophomore. Took his lumps, learned his lessons, but he's back for his junior year and looks really, really good. So
Coach, you got me hyped as soon as you said Wyatt Williams. I'm like, oh man, we got another year of Wyatt, man. Because I mean, I feel like you and me have been talking about him for a couple of years now, where he has stepped up and made big things. And sometimes I forget about some of these guys still have another year to go, and I'm like, oh man, that gets me so excited.
we can't forget about young Drewski at quarterback. You know,
Mhm.
Drew Stapleton. You know, you're like, we didn't expect him to have to be thrown into action as early as he was thrown into action. So he got a lot of experience as a freshman, threw for 1,600 yards, and he's had a really good offseason. I think we are, you know, he has such a better handle of our scheme and our philosophy and what we're trying to do. And you're going to get to watch his, you know, God willing, you know, barring injury, it's football. Stuff happens, but you know, if the kid can have a clean and healthy 3-year career, man, I really think he could be one of those kids from Lafayette, one of the Lafayette quarterbacks that you talk about for a while. We think a lot about Drew Stapleton. So
Where has been his biggest area of progress, you feel like, from his freshman year through where you've got him out here? What is it that jumps off the page to you that he has really improved upon from last year?
he's always been a confident kid, and even as a freshman, he has this natural leadership charisma that we want him to continue to develop, and he has. But really, it's just his decision making. We ask him to make a lot of decisions, especially post snap. So like, there's a time, you know, like once you snap the ball, like there's only so much time to get things accomplished.
Mhm.
He's working through his progressions a lot more efficiently, a lot cleaner. Um, you know, where it's easy to early on in the summer, it was very easy to force the ball to the 6'5" kid who can out jump everybody and has a dynamic catch radius,
Mhm.
which Wyatt Williams is that. And he's been able to he's been able to move through his progressions more and more efficiently every single week. He don't get stuck on the same mistake. That's my biggest thing with him is I don't find our, you know, I think it does help having Clark Barrett come back and be your quarterback coach, you know, someone who's played here, done it at a high level, and has had to deal with me at the same time. You know what I mean? I think there's a good buffer there. But yeah, I mean, it's just everything that comes with more reps, more experience, and the fact that he's got 3 seasons to show what he's got. We feel really, really good about that. So
That's the thing that I love, and that's also a thing that I absolutely hate about Central Catholic football is that you have all these former players that will come back and want to give back to the program, and that's awesome. The problem I have with it is I like when I felt like I was getting old, I was calling Clark Barrett, and now he's coaching, which makes me
right,
feel even older,
but yeah,
which I
man,
can't take anymore, buddy. But that's what
yeah.
I do love that about you've had so many former players that have come back to try to help them kind of put their little stamp on things here too,
Oh,
and here you
and they
are
still
finding
are.
another
Yeah.
one, yeah, finding
I'm
another one
trying to
too.
think of them off the top of my head. We got Clark Barrett, we got Dakota Skis and Bryn Robbins. Dakota Skis, Dakota Skis and Bryn Robbins together is a problem. They're coaching our outside linebackers. Cody Christopher's still here.
Yeah.
He had a great career at Wabash.
Oh yeah.
Jake Page is still here, coaching the defensive back. I mean, these guys are like going on years like 5 and 7. You know, like yeah, you're absolutely right, Jared. When you talk about how incredible this community is, man, and the pride that is placed in it, and you feel it. And these people have made me and mine feel like we've always been a part of it. So you know, I'm going on year 9, buddy. Like
Oof.
it's
Yeah.
wild, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just assumed you were
yeah, we
getting
love
I
it.
just assumed you were making them sign deals before they graduate. They had to come back and do it. This is like the
Yeah,
thing they're doing. But I mean,
I haven't
really,
even had to do that.
yeah,
No.
these are great
So
names. These were legendary Central Catholic Knights who have put in years and years of production and have them come back and do that. I don't think people should sleep on that. It makes you guys very,
absolutely.
very dangerous to have that kind of influence here. And
Yeah, and Jackson Antrim too. I can't forget about Jackson Antrim. You know.
oh yeah, no, I
So,
can't forget.
yeah,
How could you forget about
yeah.
Jackson Anthrop? I don't know how you could ever do that, but a tremendous staff that you have as always. And I think this is going to be another tremendous year. This should be a great year in the Hoosier as well. I am looking forward to you guys back down in 1A, but still looking to build off of last year to see the development that these kids have made in the offseason, Coach. Really, really looking forward to that. I know you guys do such a great job. Coach Brian Ney, Central Catholic Knights. Again, they are going to be on the road week 1 at Mitchell, but they will be back on the 28th at home. They will be taking on Addicts, and you can get on out there at 7 o'clock and check out that matchup. Coach, it's always a pleasure to be talking ball with you here. I'm very excited for the Knights this year, and best of luck on that road trip on Friday night.
Yes, sir, Jared. I hope we get to talk weekly for a long time, brother.